So, Trevor, did the cast up? Is that right? Oh, hey, all right. Oh boy. Hey, can the cast come up? A lot of people are here. All right, James LeBroux's here, and Jared Harris, and Kristen, and the fabulous Lily Gladstone, and Sarah. Hey, yay. Also Joshua's here, and James Jordan's here, and Gabriel Clark is here, who plays the substitute. Mikey, man with roller suitcase. Here, come out, guys.
I'll go.
Hi.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Before I open it up to the audience, do you, Kelly, do you want to talk about how you first discovered Miley's work, and then kind of process the agreement to kind of begin this project, and then meeting her?
Miley?
Yeah, Miley.
For some, I don't know why I can't remember where I found Miley's work. I can't. It was either at Powell's, or maybe I first read it in one of her stories in the New Yorker in New York. I'm not sure, but anyway, let's go with Powell's. Yeah, bookstore in Portland. But as soon as I stumbled onto one short story collection, I went right to the next, and knew right away, you know, that I wanted to make a film of her stories. They were right up my alley, you know, landscapes, people in landscapes, a lot of chores, all my favorite things. So I reached out to her, and she was super generous, and she even let me spend like a year trying different stories to see how they would mend together, and yeah, she just sort of let me go at it, and yeah.
And for the cast, did you use the for preparation? Did you use the short stories, or was it mainly focusing on the script?
The script. I moved away from the short stories just because I needed to sort of make it my own world. And once I started scouting with Charlie Skinner, who's here, and Neil and Anish, we started spending time, you know, just getting to know Montana and sort of letting it become. Her stories take place actually in Helena, and we moved it over to Livingston and areas thereabout, and lucked upon that ranch that we had, and so yes, once I sort of got my feet on the ground, I didn't really look back to the stories, but I think the actors probably did. I know Jared did, yeah.
Great. Let's open it up to the audience. If anyone has any questions. I see any hands? Right there in the center.
Why, if you read a lot of her stories, why did you choose these three to weave together?
The question was just, why did these specific stories speak to her?
Well, the stories, that middle story, well, the rancher story, obviously that's like the story right away, because that looks really hard and cold to do, so of course. But I moved between stories. I did think that there was, you know, in her stories, the Laura character's not married, and the couple, I don't know if they're married or not, they don't have a kid. Anyway, things started taking shape. I thought with the Sandstone story was a story I read, and I first thought like, oh, I wonder why'd she include that little story in her lovely collection. And then that story just stuck with me, and I ended up going back to it and becoming very attached to it. And I just thought there were these really subtle threads of struggle, and I liked the the idea of starting the film with Jared's character, with someone who's gotten to his point in life and is just sort of can't get his head around the idea that the system's not going to work out for him and that things are unfair, and then working your way through to the rancher who's sort of takes her knocks more in stride and is probably realized a long time ago that things, you know, a lot of times don't work out. So I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a long process, and for me there were threads with throughout.
Great. Any more questions?
These guys.
Over here, yeah.
As the screenwriter, director, and editor, did you have a hard time maintaining a critical eye over your work through the filmmaking process?
The question is, as the screenwriter, director, and editor, did you have a difficulty with having a critical eye over the process?
Why do I think there's a subtext to that question? No. I was good. I was totally on top of it.
Right here.
The movie is dedicated to Lucy. Is that the doc from Wendy and Lucy?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The question was the dedication to Lucy, and if it was the dog from Wendy and Lucy.
Yes.
Yes. Any up there? Yeah.
I was curious about
The question is about the shooting on film.
To shoot on film, you know, it seems like time, you know, you get scared that time's running out for shooting on film. We actually didn't think we could pull it off on film because the actors, the big fear was that by the time we got our footage back, that group of actors on that story would be gone. And we wouldn't have money to bring them back. And so we were gonna forego film, and then Chris Blauvelt came out and we did a test shoot. When we were doing test shoots, there was a lot of snow, and it was we thought we were gonna have a very white movie. And the snow just really, when you don't have film, there's just no detail to it at all. It's just so flat. So right before we started shooting, when we had no money left for another test shoot, we switched back to film and just said, fuck it, we're gonna go for it. I called Larry Fessenden, I remember, and who's a filmmaker and one of the executive producers, and I was freaking out, and I was just like, you know, I just really wanna shoot film, and I feel like it's the last time, and the snow's gonna look so much better. It really almost never snowed the rest of the time, but, but I'm worried, you know, because, and explained all and I remember he said to me, he goes, do you think Herzog worries about shit like that? And I was like, oh, I guess not. So we just went for it, yeah.
Yes, here.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what drew them to that story. I was wondering if the cast could talk about like what drew them to the script.
So for the cast, questions about what drew them to the script in this project.
Well, it was the quality of the writing. It was just so beautiful, and I felt an immediate rapport with that character. I found his predicament sad and amusing at the same time. And after I'd read the script, then I got a hold of the short stories, and I just thought it was the most perfect adaptation of those short stories. Kelly absolutely captured the quality of the writing, and yeah, I've become a big fan of hers. I've got all of her books.
You want to go? I'm a Rygar fan, and I think you know, particularly for our story, Kelly's somehow fixated on things that most people miss. Like, she's just really incredibly good at highlighting the unspoken and the invisible, and little things that you go home and think about that you would never think to express to someone. Typically don't find their way into movies. You know, people don't write about those things. And there were just, between us, there's like little misconnections and little conversations that are just completely separate. You think you're having an exchange with someone, that's like the definition of a conversation, but sometimes you're just so alone. And I thought it was so perfect and sad, and yeah, no, I think that she's great, right?
Well, Kelly is my friend, and you don't say no to Kelly, or I don't. And so I said yes before I even read it, and then I was really happy after I read it. I was like, wow. Whew. And you know, these are kind of unique experiences for me anyway. You know, it's you know, as a working actor, you know, you get hired out and you do these jobs, and it's mostly like bookcases and bathrooms, and you try to make the best of it. But every now and again, you get the ceiling of the church, and you get to do something really outside of your expectations, and so that's the best thing. Anyway, thanks.
No-brainer. Sometimes there's just a horse and you gotta jump on it, you know? Kelly's been one of my favorite filmmakers for a really long time, so you get that notice in your inbox and then you read the script and you see character, and so yeah, I was like, duh.
Okay, so I read the script and I thought it was really cool how Kelly wrote these 3 stories to all kind of go in this one movie, and I thought it was really cool, and I liked my part in the film. I thought it was really fun to film and work with such amazing people. I had a great time, it was fun.
I just happened to be living in Livingston, Montana at the time. Pretty happy to be part of the whole thing. But I'm a perfect example, as there's no such thing as a small role, just small actors.
Right here in the center.
Rowdy? Talking about Rowdy. Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't know the dog's name. Oh yeah, Rowdy.
Question about the dogs?
That dog came with the ranch, and you couldn't stop him. And so, yeah, we went out there, the first day we went out to that ranch and we met this Lynn, she's a woman who just has like 20 horses in her house that she takes, on her ranch that she takes care of herself, and her really sweet husband's allergic to hay, so he stays inside, and she just does it all herself. And Lily worked with her for a couple of weeks and became super attached. But Rowdy, you know, if you do, thank God we don't do more takes, because you can't stop him every time from going after that machine. So, yeah, he was the whole ranch, that ranch was a lucky find just in life. Even the day after we wrapped, one of their horses had a baby, which they named Lily. Colt, yeah. Oh.
I think we have time for one more. Right back there. question about the pacing of the movie. So maybe you want to talk about editing and figuring out how you kind of figure out your pace to your story.
I don't know. It's funny because I was watching it tonight and thinking about how, I don't know, so much of my life is spent doing these drives cross country, and I'm always tortured by it in a way, but I have to, I don't know, they seem necessary somehow because you have to get place to place, and I'm just realizing tonight how much how much in my films are just people getting to places and going back to places. and I was like, oh, okay, maybe the drive has some purpose, for better or worse. But I mean, I think it's easy, the idea of like, how do you, if you're shooting outside in, you know, the weather keeps you kind of honest because you have to contend with it. And I think the actors could speak to this, but I think when you're working with animals too, you just have a lot you have to react to all the time, and you can't, like, we go out with a plan, but there's always going to be chaos involved because of the environments we're shooting in, and I think that dictates a lot, right?
Sure.
You have to be fully present when you're working with
dude,
animals.
it's a really, really unique thing to actually have any bit of comfortability sitting and watching somebody not like package up and deliver you this notion. Like, it doesn't happen, you know. Her movies are purely, because they're so composed, you know, they're not found, they're not like messy, we'll just like get it up on like someone's shoulder and be like, oh, whatever we get. It's like, it's super thoughtful in its approach and slow and steady, and the fact that she has the patience and the interest in things that people don't normally look at is what paces her movies, and like just like the comfortability of watching nothing, because there's always something in there. You know, she's not controlling everything. She's not playing every part in the movie. Like, she's really letting people live, and like it's rare. It's cool.
Kelly.
You know, I just finished by saying that exactly what you were saying, but Kelly has a deep sense of the truth. That's what I think. And she's gonna run away. And good night. Thank you.